training camps get underway in the NFL, First Take is going camping by diving into the biggest storylines heading into the season. Today, we are taking a look at the AFC North. The AFC North has no shortage of talent at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson is coming off his second MVP season, while Joe Burrow and Deshaun Watson are looking to return to Pro Bowl form after injuries prematurely ended their 2023 seasons. And, of course, Russell Wilson is now in Pittsburgh after 2 forgettable years in Denver. HG, going to start with you on this one. Does the AFC North have the best quarterbacks?
No, I don't believe they do. I think it's between 2 other divisions, and I'll start with the NFC West. And a lot of people just write them off because it's not the best division in football. But I would also say when you look at their quarterbacks and you're judging quarterback 3 and 4, I think the NFC West, when you look at Matthew Stafford, who's won a Super Bowl, Brock Purdy, who's been to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game in a separate year, but then now you're talking about Geno Smith, who had a resurgence at the quarterback position in Seattle. You also look at a Kyler Murray. We know what he's able to do when he's fully healthy. So when you look at all 4 quarterbacks and you're judging them in a division, I think the NFC West has an argument. I would also say the NFC North. When you see Jared Goff, you have a Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, even though he's a rookie, his surroundings and what Ryan Poles has put around him, we expect him to be decent. I should say more than decent. We expect him to be good this season. And I think when you look at Minnesota, you're going with Sam Darnold. Is it going to be J.J. McCarthy or whatnot? So I think looking at those 2 divisions, I think from top to bottom, I would probably have over the AFC North.
Harry. Well, you know how I feel about the AFC North, right? Mm-hmm. How many of the quarterbacks in the NFC West are in the top 10 when you think of quarterbacks?
You have Matthew Stafford, and you can make.
Do you got Brock Purdy in the top 10?
Just give me a second. You can make an argument for Brock Purdy because
what
you won't do is ignore Vanilla Vic. We've seen Vanilla Vic out there utilizing his legs, his escapability.
See what he's trying to do?
Throwing with anticipation, being there for his team.
Because Harry knows I got him. Because we were on the show together yesterday. We were on the shows. We were not talking about Brock Purdy being the top 10 of quarterbacks. We were not talking about Geno Smith.
But he's a guy on the outside that you can make an argument for, though.
Listen,
that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
The world knows I'm a big Brock Purdy fan, so you ain't got to tell me. But Kyler Murray, we're not looking at Kyler Murray, Geno, and Brock Purdy as in the top 10. But you know who I would put in the top 10? 2 quarterbacks from the AFC North. Right?
Ooh, yeah,
you got the reigning MVP in Lamar Jackson, right? Yeah, and if I use Harry Douglas's words against him from earlier in the show, who do you think is the biggest obstacle for Patrick Mahomes in the AFC? What'd you say?
Yeah.
You said the Bengals, who are quarterbacked by who? Joe Burrow. Who is where? AFC North. Okay.
Ooh, I can't wait. To give you
Come on with it. Come on with it, Harry.
Now, it wasn't too long ago I was on First Take or Get Up, one of the 2. I don't know. One of them. And I had a question. Harry, who is your biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs? I mentioned the Detroit Lions, who's led by Jared Goff. Now, let me also ask you another question. How many Super Bowls, quarterback-wise, does the AFC North have?
Harold.
How many Super Bowls have the quarterbacks in the AFC North won?
How many Super Bowls have they been to in the AFC North?
1.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 1. How many have the quarterbacks in the NFC West been to? 2. With a win for Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'll be damned. Looky here.
No.
Oh, well, go ahead, retract.
When was that?
You know they building these new stadiums with these retractable roofs? Go ahead, retract.
Tell me why Matthew Stafford has a ring. Because of Aaron Donald. Because of who was he playing? Who was he facing in the Super Bowl? Who was he playing?
Aaron Donald played a huge part in it, but at the same time, Matthew Stafford.
Harry.
Did you forget that the Los Angeles Rams were down? before they scored that game-winning touchdown?
No,
Did you forget versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that they went down and Todd Bowles went cover zero? And Matthew Stafford said, you know what? It's cover zero and they're blitzing the house, but let me retract.
Take me to church.
Let me back up a little bit and throw this ball with some air on there so Cooper Kupp can run underneath so we can kick the game-winning field goal.
Yes.
Did we suddenly forget about that?
No, I was on the sideline for that. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. I was there. But we're talking about, you want to bring up Super Bowls. What was the
this is first take.
But do you have?
This is the debate. I gotta use my arsenal.
Do you have the Rams as your favorite to win the Super Bowl?
No, but they're a team in the NFC that you have to watch out for.
No, they're a team that you have to watch out for. Okay, so I can say
that about the Ravens. So let me ask you a question.
I can say that about the Ravens.
Do you have the Baltimore Ravens as your favorite to win the Super Bowl?
No, I have the Chiefs, but I have the Ravens.
Well, look at God. He might not come when you want him to. He always
He's always on time. No, I think the interesting thing about this question is that all of these divisions have like 2 that are like money. And then you can make a case because honestly, you look to your point about the AFC North, like you could look at the AFC North and say that. You could look at the NFC East, honestly, and say that. I know we had a debate about Jalen Hurts earlier, but so a lot of these divisions, they're not stacked from top to bottom, but I would give, when I look at the AFC North, those 2 guys and Lamar Jackson being the reigning MVP and Joe Burrow, to me, it's so easy.
So I would say, the reason why, one of the main reasons why I picked the NFC West was because I was going by top to bottom. Because if you know, top 2 heavy, a lot of these divisions are from a quarterback perspective. But I said to myself, you know what, let me not just ignore the simple fact that we have a guy in Kyler Murray that we know when we see healthy can ball out. We have a guy in Geno Smith that hasn't been bad in Seattle.
And I love Geno. Was there when he was drafted. But you could
who
literally
would you
look at
take?
the AFC North and say, well, when Deshaun Watson was healthy, was he not a baller? Were we not looking at Deshaun Watson?
I'm glad you brought it up.
I'm trying to use your own logic. Again, everybody knows I'm Cleveland. I'm always in Cleveland, right? So for me, when
we don't know what we're gonna get from Deshaun. I'm not dying on that hill.
You're talking about.
I rolled down that hill, but I ain't dying on it.
Neither am I, sir. But when you talk about Kyler Murray, if you bring up Kyler and say when he's healthy, we at least expect. We don't know what we're getting from Kyler. He is coming off an injury. We don't know. We hope that he is better.
I tell you this. I know it's gonna be better than Deshaun Watson. I can guarantee. What Charles Barkley said? I guarantee it's going to be better than damn Deshaun Watson from Kyler Murray. I can guarantee that.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm just saying we're trying to project. I don't know. If Deshaun returns to form, if Kyler returns to form, we don't know. But I think the AFC North is still the answer.
Okay, this has been a very good conversation. I don't know why I like this little dynamic here. Kimberly, I'm going to start. Kimberly, I'm going to ask you this one. Which quarterback in the AFC North is this season most critical for?
Lamar Jackson. Because I've been so frustrated by the Ravens watching them as just because they have all the pieces. And then you go out and get a Derrick Henry and you think, okay, now they got everything. Now there's no way that they can forget that they are a running football team. But when I look at Lamar, he's so talented, he's so different, he's so dynamic. Every week when I cover games and I'm talking to defensive coordinators and I'm talking to players, they're like, yo, how do we stop 8? Like, that's the first thing. It is not about stopping this defensive player necessarily. He is so electric and dynamic, and he can beat you with his arm, but he is scary with his legs, right? And when I look at Lamar, the teams that they have had, when I look at the talent that he has, the difference maker that he is, and to be a 2-time MVP, and to be knocking at the doorstep, and then to just it just seemed like he just forgot last year his superpower in the playoffs this year. That was really disappointing to see because he is much more talented than he showed in that game. And the Ravens are much more talented. So for me, it's not even about getting to the playoffs for the Ravens. This is a team, it's Super Bowl or bust.
You know they're going to be there.
For Lamar Jackson. Because he is that guy who can win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, and it's time that him and his team do that.
For me, I'm going to go with Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers because, Russ is basically playing for his job. Mm-hmm. He's playing to stay in the NFL and have the ability to be on the NFL team and a roster past this season. I think luckily for him, he has an offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith who's going to run the football, who's going to utilize the play-action game and let everything in the pass game come off the run ability of this football team. So it's going to play towards Russell Wilson and his strength. So I'm going to go Russell, man, because he's literally playing to stay in the NFL.
All right, certainly a lot on the line this season.